The reading is taken from Matthew chapter 2. Now, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, "Where is he who's been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And assembling all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it is written by the prophet. And you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for from you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod summoned the wise men secretly and ascertained from them what time the star had appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word, that I too may come and worship him." After listening to the king, they went on their way, and behold, the star that they had seen when it rose went before them, until it came to rest over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And going into the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. Then, opening their treasures, they offered him gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And being warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed to their own country by another way.
The Christmas story has some truly wonderful and very memorable elements in it. Who can forget the little donkey riding on to Bethlehem with the heavily pregnant Mary on his back? Or the innkeeper with his hands on his hips and his head defiantly shaking as he informs the lovely couple that there's no room in the inn? Or the shepherds watching their flocks and washing their socks as the angel appears to them and instructs them to go to Bethlehem? And then there's the star that leads the three wise men, the three kings, on to the stable themselves to worship. The gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And behind it all, there is the evil king, Herod, looking for a way to get rid of this little baby. Have you ever wondered why? The thing that surprises me each year when we encounter Herod in the Christmas story is the surprising fact that Herod himself is a believer. Did you notice verse 4 in the reading? It said this: "And assembling all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born." Christ means Messiah, and Messiah means anointed King of Israel. Now, he doesn't laugh at the three wise men. He believes that a Messiah has been born. But here's the thing about Herod. He already is the King of Israel, and he likes being the King of Israel. There's only room for one King of Israel in his world. But he believes. And so he gathers the priests, and he gathers the scribes, and he says, "Where is the Christ to be born?" Now this surprises me too, because quick as a flash, they come back with the answer. They know where this promised one is to be born. He's to be born in Bethlehem, they say. And they quote the scriptures. What shocks me is that they don't go and worship. They know it's foretold. They know it's promised. They have a strong suspicion it's him, but they don't go. Why? Well, for the same reason. There's only room for one priest in their lives. There's only room for one king in their lives, themselves. I think that's pretty true of all humanity. In fact, it's what the Bible calls the original sin, our desire as people to want to be king over our lives. And think about it, everything we see, all the advertisements we see, reinforce that fact that you're the king, you're worth it. You can have whatever you want, whenever you want it. You're the king. The oldest story in the Bible is the story of Adam and Eve. And God has been gracious to Adam and Eve. And he said to them, you can eat of any tree in the garden, but of one tree alone, you may not eat. Well, one day, while Eve and her husband Adam are there by this one tree they mustn't eat, the enemy, the devil, comes and tempts them and says to them, did God really say you weren't to eat from any fruit in the garden? No, just this one, they reply. If we even touch this one, we'll die. No, you won't surely die, the devil said. God has told you not to eat this fruit because on the day you do, you will be like him. You'll be like him. You'll be like God. It seems in Adam and Eve's life there was only room for one God, and that was themselves. And so they took of that apple or that fruit and they ate. That's the original sin, wanting to be like God. And it's why Herod killed so many children. He wanted to remain king of all. It's an incredible thing. Do you know why Jesus came at Christmas? You see, our tendency is to want to be like God. And the only way God could rescue us was becoming like us, born in a stable, in a manger, given up for dead, but in so doing, he raises us to heaven.